So when it comes to long-running franchises, I think it's a pretty universally accepted fact that no matter how much we may love them or we may defend them against our friends, they're gonna have their peaks and their valleys. And Saw is really no different. It's my personal opinion that the final chapter is the lowest point in the franchise, and although it's definitely had a bit of a pretty decent upswing with the installments of Jigsaw and Spiral in recent years, they still came with a little bit of hesitation from me. And I think that's because I just couldn't help but still feel like Saw as a whole was kind of in this fragile place, this state where it would take minimal effort just to completely derail all of its progress and drive it back into the ground. But then came the utter chef's kiss and the topic of today's review, Saw X. Now, why do I praise it so highly? Well, for one thing, because it completely understands exactly where the sweet spot in the timeline and my personal favorite spot between the second and third movie is. It understands that the characters of Jigsaw, John Kramer, and Amanda, and their physical presence on screen is really the heart and soul of everything, and that the cultivation of their friendship and their sort of teacher master apprentice relationship is really where the magic of this thing lies. Now, speaking of Jigsaw, I have noticed when it comes to the horror community and the Saw community that he is a subject of quite a bit of controversy and or debate, if you will. One of the major talking points that I saw was whether or not Jigsaw was actually a killer. I think more specifically, something along the lines of just because he doesn't actively kill people himself, does the fact that he even puts his participants in these situations to begin with make him a killer? The other thing that I saw was quite a bit of back and forth about um, some of the justification or rationale that he had in his um, selection process. In particular, I believe that I saw something about whichever movie it was that had the insurance agent who denied him coverage for his medical procedures. Um, that's not really something that I'm going to get into here. All I'm going to say is that I think um, you know that's something that made sense to him as a character and made sense to the individual context of the movies. What I will say is that I don't believe there's any denying who the bad guy is in this movie. I mean, the whole concept of scamming desperate cancer patients, Jigsaw included, out of their hope and copious amounts of money every last dime they have is just super despicable and deplorable, disgusting, whatever word you want to use, is bad, right? Um, and I couldn't really help but feel as though this was a redemption arc for Jigsaw. Maybe it comes from just being super happy to have these characters that we love so much thrown back into the mix. I'm not sure. But they really did a great job in crafting this awful villain that you just love to hate. It was super easy to see Jigsaw and Amanda as the good guys and cheer them on as they gave the villain everything that they deserved. Now, whether or not everybody else that was involved in this deserved the same fate, I would argue that there might be a little bit of wiggle room there, but there's definitely no denying that she um, was the overall villain that just deserved the worst of fates. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this film was the simplicity behind the traps. Now, that's not to say that that it didn't take effort or time to build and strategize and organize and get everything ready. I'm just saying that obviously we're not in the traditional Jigsaw situation. We are not in his stomping grounds where he's got his workshop and everything else. Um, this movie definitely carries this vibe where it's like we're in a different country. We're in Mexico. We're pretty far removed from uh, everything that Jigsaw would know, and are forced to use everything in his vicinity. And in some cases using the medical equipment against them, which I just thought was super clever and creative to do, given the whole vibe that the movie and the setting therein gives off. But yeah, as you can probably see as a Saw fan, I'm a pretty huge advocate of this movie, and I'm looking very, very much forward to what is coming next. If I was to rank them, I don't necessarily know if it would topple my number one favorite of Saw 2, but let me just tell you, it comes pretty damn close, and at the very least would be a super duper strong second. So with that, guys, that'll about wrap it up. And until next time, we'll see you later.